Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the
Experience the rhythm of Africa come alive at Daylight Africa Week 2023 in Senegal. Join us for the groundbreaking Transatlantic Family Reunification Forum, where hearts unite and stories of resilience span continents. Journey through the rich culture of Dakar, Gorée Island and St. Louis, where the echoes of the past shape our future. Lights, camera, action. Be captivated by the film screening and cinema forum, a celebration of African American women in cinema in collaboration with Daylight Africa. Network with visionaries and trailblazers during our social and economic networking events. Together, we'll build bridges to a brighter future. Daylight Africa Week 2023 in Senegal. An unforgettable journey awaits you from September 2nd to 10th. Reserve your spot now at www.daylightafrica.org. Terms and conditions apply. Events are subject to change.
Hi, welcome to World Inkers Network. I'm Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. And today our guest is Austin Davis. He is a 23-year-old poet, musician, and the founder of Arizona Hugs. And he is the author of Lotus and the Apocalypse and Compulsive Swim. Let's join together here with Austin Davis. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you.
Thank you, my friend. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful. It's so tell us a little bit about your creative process. You know, do you follow a rhythm or a ritual, or do you just go right into it, jump head first? How does it work for you?
Yeah, well, poetry for me has always been survival. I deal with a lot of mental health issues. I have OCD, depression, Tourette's, and as a kid, I just found a lot of comfort in writing and creating, and I always have. So, writing poetry, writing songs, all that, that's always been my way of, getting through whatever I'm dealing with. But, I, for a second I thought, hey, if I'm going to be a writer, I should set certain times, during the day or week or whatever, where I'm just going to write. And I just didn't work for me. So now I kind of treat writing like, I would any other essential aspect of life, like eating or breathing, and I write when I need to.
Well, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I've had anxiety issues and depression and all that, and some of the similar troubles with, and that's why I'm a compulsive writer. Just when I get anxious, I start writing. So, yeah. How did you develop a relationship with Outcast Press, and what should a poet or a writer consider when they're looking for publishers?
Yeah, Outcast is so cool. They're amazing. I love that press. Sebastian runs Outcast, and I think to be honest, I was looking for a publisher for Lotus and the Apocalypse, and I really liked the style of some of Outcast's past books. And I just remember I think I reached out to them, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you're taking submissions, but I'm working on this project. Do you want to talk? And we just kind of, went from there and worked on 2 books together so far. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm in the process of writing another book, but takes a long time. So who knows what that'll turn into. But the process working with Outcast was just awesome. I think, when you're looking for a publisher for a project, it's important to think about, I guess the goals of what you want your book to look like, and I guess kind of the, like, who can be the best teammate, because I feel like that's a lot of publishing is collaboration, and bringing in a lot of people to create something together,
Right.
At least that's how I like to look at it, with the artists and the editors and everyone, bringing in their own talents and skills that are different than mine, but we come together and we can make a cool, weird book.
Sounds like, I mean, I was looking at the description of like compulsive swim, and that sounds fascinating the way the way you described it in the on Amazon, and I just thought that's interesting. So how do you know when you've also done collaborations, like you have a jazz collaboration, I believe. How do you know when you have synergy with another artist where you can do a collab with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of just that feeling, of, oh wow, when I'm with you, I feel really creative, and when we're, together trying to make something, the outcome is just really cool. It's just a cool feeling. So yeah, I mean, with my that jazz collaboration, that was with musician Joe Alley.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredibly talented. He's awesome. And yeah, we made a 3-song spoken word jazz EP. I guess that was 2 summers ago. That's crazy, like 2 years ago, about homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the proceeds going to AZ Hugs, and we did some events, some shows to like organize donations and stuff, and that was really cool. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. And so, speaking of AZ Hugs, how do you bridge art and activism? Where do you see the two compel each other and give each other energy, or do you see like a different compartments of your life?
Well, the heart of AZ Hugs is that, we might not have all the resources or all the answers, but at the very least, I can be a friend to you, and we can try to figure it out together. And I think that, for me, poetry and art has always been a friend to me. Just the ability and the time to create something has felt like having a friend there, And
Mm-hmm.
I think that for a lot of folks experiencing homelessness, a lot of folks on the streets, making art, is also a survival method. You got to create, and that's something that has always been really passionate for me. Is let's work together to create ways for people to create art and be able to make the stuff they want to make.
So do you encourage, when you meet a person on the streets, do you encourage them to do some art, or how's your relationship with the homelessness, or with the homeless? How does that function for you? It's something that you kind of developed over time, or did you have personal experience that led you that direction? Or
Yeah, well, I mean, the streets are my family out here. I spend every day out there. After we're done with this interview, I'm getting back to the streets. I got a mom with a newborn baby on the streets that I'm going to meet up with, try to get her in a motel. And then we got a couple people who want to go to detox, someone that wants to talk about rehab, so whole list of folks that I'll be meeting up with later in the day. But yeah, I mean, for me, mental health has always been the biggest thing. And, in my worst times, having a friend is what really helped me. So that was, kind of one of the big goals with AZ Hugs. I haven't been on the streets myself, but I've had a safety net, and a lot of people don't have a safety net. A lot of people don't have family to rely on, or someone's couch to crash on, and once it snowballs, it really snowballs, for most people, homelessness is caused initially by unforeseen circumstances,
right.
It's just like quicksand once you're kind of stuck in there. And then, here in Arizona, we're in such a just terribly complicated and difficult situation, with the fentanyl crisis and, the housing crisis. It's 1 to 2 month wait lists for families with kids to get into shelter. It's pretty bad here. Yeah. So that's why we gotta, work together and gotta create solutions that work for everyone.
Yeah, in Houston, I believe, where I'm at in Houston, they actually just give you a house or a home, apartment. I think they just have this, they don't even have to ask questions. If you're homeless, they just give you one. If you sign up and they give it to you. I'm not sure how the program works, but it's been able to kind of limit homelessness quite a bit. Obviously, it makes sense. It's kind of a, if you're homeless, you need a house, just or a place to live. They work on that with people here in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, behind homelessness in pretty much every situation, there's trauma as well, So housing first is a great model.
Right.
But, in my experience, I think housing first plus personalized care I think everyone deserves one-on-one care, and a case manager that, wants to work together to create, a solution. Like at the end of the day, everyone just deserves a shot at the kind of life they want,
Right.
So housing first, but that personalized care, I think is really crucial too.
Makes a lot of sense, because a lot of people that are on the streets have mental health trouble, and they really don't just choose to go out there and live like that. I mean, obviously it's good to have someone face to face, as well as a place to go when you're done with your day, or a place to stay and be safe. So I'm just curious, what compelled Lotus in the Apocalypse, as far as the idea, because I read about it a little bit and it sounds fascinating. And then, this idea of the last minute of the world, or the last day of the world, and what do you do in the last moments if the world is ending? And I'm just curious what compelled that idea from you.
Yeah, well, I just started writing poems, and I didn't know that it was going to turn into what it did, but in the last stage of editing, before I kind of had the idea of, I want to write a poetry novella, I had printed out all the poems and taped them around my room at my mom's house. This was years ago, and I remember I was just like walking around my room in circles, and just kind of reading the poems, and I had like a Sharpie, and I was just like crossing stuff out and editing, and it kind of hit me like, wow, a lot of these poems naturally feel in succession with each other already, and I've always loved a good story, and a good story written in poems. I think that's a really cool genre, is the poetry novella, so when those two kind of clicked in my head, then it got really fun, because then I just got to focus on I got all these poems, let's make it cohesive. The idea being, you start in the beginning, and at the end you've experienced something that feels linear in one way, but not linear in another, so it was a fun game for me, and
Wow.
I wrote a lot of these poems in the first year of the pandemic, and that was just really weird and scary, and I was in college at that time, and everything shut down, so
Right.
going online, but I was also spending all my time outside on the streets, and it just a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, during that time, so that's kind of where a lot of the poems came from. But
Wow.
I mean, I remember like the first poem, for example, "The World Will End Tonight." I had a really bad panic attack right before I wrote that. I just had a terrible panic attack, and I just felt debilitated and weak afterwards, and I just wrote that in one sitting, and no editing. Yeah, and that's not usually how my poems happen, but for that one at least. So a lot of these poems were born out of a poor mental health state as well.
It seems like where poetry finds itself a lot of times. So what do you think, how do you perceive Gen Z's values, and how do you think your poetry expresses them?
Gen Z values?
Yes.
I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question. Like, are you saying like our generation has shared values, you think?
Possibly. I mean, there's you would think sometimes through the media, the way media presents things, but I don't just, what is your opinion, just in general?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think for folks my age and in that kind of generation, we've grown up in a really weird, uncertain time, like there's just a lot of bad things happening all at once, always, and I know for a lot of people I know, like everyone's got, mental health issues, and everyone's just trying to take care of themselves, so I think that there's a better understanding of, having to care for oneself between us, and also, an understanding that it's our responsibility to care for each other,
Right. It's interesting. And, I grew up in the 90s, and it was, we pretended to be troubled, I would say. It was the grunge era, and so everyone had to be depressed. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of this all these happenings that have been going on for like, the last few years, just the last few years, starting with January 6th and the pandemic, and then just a lot of terrible uncertainty, as you said. And I think it's good that people have to pull together during those periods to kind of find the value in life. There's been high suicide rates and more mental health problems amongst people in general. So I think it's good that there's a some sort of sense of community and collaboration. How important do you think it is for artists to collaborate with one another and to network as far as getting your work recognized and out there for people to read?
Well, for me, like, collaboration is the fun part. Like right now, one of the projects I'm working on is it's like a neo soul R&B EP with Junoverse, she's a really cool R&B singer here in Arizona, and that's totally new for me, and she's way more talented than I am, but it's just super fun to try new things and kind of get out of your comfort zone, and I think that collaborating with other artists, that's a really good way to do that, is to push yourself artistically. But I think also writing and creating can often feel like kind of a lonely thing. It's very in yourself. So having a good, strong community, I think, is really important for sure, because as I said, collaboration is the key to togetherness, I think.
Absolutely. And I read one of the blurbs to, I think it was your latest book, Compulsive Swim, that said that you're like a John Donne.
Well, that was
about the praise you receive.
I think that was from Cultural Daily. Yeah, they're a really cool publication. If you haven't, definitely check them out. Yeah. Well, I'm just honored. Any kind words at all, I feel extremely blessed for. But I've just been really lucky to have some amazing teachers, and role models around me. I'm trying to use poetry, as a tool to bring people together, to host events, to have these community spaces, to bring poetry in places that, poetry might not normally be at. And I've just had some really cool teachers, kind of bring that idea to me. So I just feel lucky and blessed,
Well, it's good to, try to reach out to people also that are, not necessarily themselves poets or artists, but they enjoy the process and listening to other people's, work and commenting and things like that. So I think it's just fascinating the way that, we're coping with this reality that we've been kind of facing in the last few years. It's humanity has to continue in some capacity. Everything is like falling apart, it seems like right now. So do you feel that the capitalist values of the past are maybe kind of getting cliche and we need to rebuild our society some other way?
Oh man, I think it's been that way. The capitalist system is extremely flawed in itself, and it thrives on some people gaining a lot, and a lot of people having a little, and not having the opportunities that the small percent do, so definitely I think that we need a communal change.
I think that's probably true. We definitely need some more communal space. It would help a lot for the fact that we're so isolated in this culture, to have a little space to just create and enjoy company of other people, and I think creating that through, poetry and our, the leaders in the artist community are kind of responsible for creating some great places for us to all, enjoy literature and enjoy, just communicating our thoughts.
Yeah. Like that's how we learn, right. And that's how we create solutions, and that's how we move forward. So 100%.
Absolutely. We're going to take a brief break, but we'll be back and we'll take some of your poetry and listen to it. And I look forward to that. So enjoy this break.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our new site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Welcome back to the program, and we're with Austin Davis today talking about literature and his poetry. I'm going to give him the open space here to read some of his own work, and I hope you enjoy it. There you go. Go ahead and go forward.
Well, thank you, my friend. I guess I'll start with a poem from Lotus in the Apocalypse. This is called Lotus and Love. We meet up in the library parking lot every night after you get off work at the drugstore. We lie on the roof of my van and stare up at the sky. You call the stars cosmic freckles and tell me that our biology teacher from high school buys glow-in-the-dark condoms and that the V on the middle of a Valium pill looks like a little heart that wants more than anything to become a circle. I nod and laugh and think about how we're both going to die some night in our sleep and we'll never see it coming. The leaves have no idea they're going to fall. The fish have no idea they're going to be eaten by an unhappy family around a big oak table. And you have no idea that getting to hear about your day for 32 and a half minutes every night is what makes me okay with waking up in the morning. I suppose this is the way living has always been. You think you're happy until you meet that person who makes you notice every ache in your chest. Maybe we should drive my van into the book deposit bin and steal all the books our consciences can carry. Maybe we should make out, or make love, or make up some story about a little home in the mountains with art on the walls, a pineapple pizza cooking in the oven, and 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins playing on a ham radio in the kitchen. In my mind, you're pulling into the driveway in the same car you're driving tonight, about to lie with me by the fireplace on our rug of pink and yellow orchids, tell me all about the last 10 hours of your existence, and make me feel like the man who cried into the clouds during a solar eclipse and did not go blind. Thanks.
Very good. Go forward with another one.
All right. Let's do one from Compulsive Swim. Let's see what we got.
Watching Austin Davis at the Parrot TV, World Inkers Network program.
This is a poem from the third act. And, in the final product of the book Compulsive Swim, the poems don't have titles. They're just, Act 3, Poem 3, or whatever. But originally this poem was called Panic Attack. My mom's gonna die. I cried tonight in the bathroom on the tile. I'm dripping wet. I can't stop these ticks in my neck. There's an itch on my brain, and the water's not hot enough. I'm dirty and can't get clean. I mean, hospitals are colder in the desert. I mean, I think my dad's going to pull us back and never sit back up. I think I'm drunk, like blackout drunk. Like I feel too much. God, I hate the word much. It's the sound the man at the bar stool to my left made before falling to his right. It's the noise that left your throat when you overdosed. Grape juice skin. You didn't wince after the first shot of Narcan. Shit. I don't know. I feel too low. Fuck. Lo and behold, where do we go if we die alone? Because I'm alone and I got to call my mom. It's way too late, but I know she'd pick up because her greatest fear is a cop on the other line calling from a wreck. Fuck, I'm a wreck. I can't breathe because, oh God, I think they're dead. I know they're dead. Do you think we'll know? Do you think we'll know, baby, when the day arrives when we can't get out of bed?
It's very descriptive emotionally. Yeah, I think we have time for maybe one or two more.
Sure, yeah. Let me read one from the new project I'm working on. Healing is lonely, and there's no other way to say it. Tonight, you cook rice and chicken by the bed in your socks in an apartment that's just a single room. Water bubbles over the pot, cars honk, and someone yells from beyond the open window. Healing is lonely, and there's no other way to say it. It feels like something's wrong, like the past has found its own past to obsess over, and you can finally let it go. Off into the water, to bob up and down and worry itself all the way to oblivion. You remember Oblivion, the motel a few miles outside the city, full of powders and pills, missed birthdays and anniversaries, broken promises, and all those months you can't remember. Everyone has rented a room in Oblivion in a past life, but this is the next life. And in this life, healing is lonely and beautiful and forever. And it's okay if the fresh skin over old wounds still feels like it's not there every now and again.
Wow, very true.
Thank you, my friend. Would you like me to read one more?
Sure, one more. I think we have time for another one.
We call it grief when sadness has settled. You told me once that if you love someone, you'll never stop loving them. And I agree. But if you lose someone, you'll never stop losing them either. Some days are almost all right. At the Circle K down the street, I hold the door for a woman talking on the phone. She doesn't look at me, but the cashier does. So we make conversation as if communication is a song, and I've brought a cello and she's learning the flute. On my walk back to the apartment, I eat my donut and drink my beer. No one is nodded out at the bus stop, and I'd like to think that all the fire trucks are still at their stations. Today, you don't show up in the form of a crisis, but I know you're still out here somewhere. Maybe today, you're just the mosquito bite on my arm, or the echo of a gunshot a few blocks away, the pain in my chest before I fall asleep, those headaches I get when the afternoon lives late and it's still light out when it should be dark.
Wonderful. Those are some powerful and gripping poems. I enjoyed listening to them. So I have a question. How do you think that art can help resolve negative emotions?
Well, I think that, when we speak our truth, it can help others feel less alone in what they're going through.
Absolutely. Do you find that when you're unraveling through your poetry that you're actually kind of resolving some, inner demons or inner conflicts?
Oh, 100%. I mean, writing poems and, creating in general, that's how, I figure out what's going on, to be honest. Right. With OCD, I have a lot of thoughts going through my head always, a lot of intrusive thoughts, a lot of bad thoughts. And it gets overwhelming, and it's hard sometimes to know what's real and what's not, what's my brain trying to trick me, what's, a rational thought. And when I write a poem and, when I focus completely, like hyper focus on, you know, whatever I'm doing, I can filter out a lot of those bad thoughts and get to the root issue, you know, because all OCD is, it's, you know, your brain saying, hey, you should be afraid of this thing, do this compulsion, and this scary thing won't be as scary anymore. But then you do the compulsion and it gets more scary over and over and over again. And it's just like the loop tightens in on yourself, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You know, it's unfortunate, but it kind of compels you to write and be creative and reach out to others in the way you do. And I think that's a very positive coping mechanism. So, do you think that an artist or a writer in our times now could be a social commentator?
You know, I mean, I think that whatever you do in this life, you know, do what you're passionate about in some way, you know, and I think poetry and art can be a really valuable tool in creating social change. You know, I think it can be a catalyst, you know, to propel movement forward, you know. So I think, yeah, you know, now more than ever, we're in a pretty terrible time, you know. Let's use what we create, to create something positive and be together.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's definitely necessary at this point in juncture in time for us to rebuild, you know, to kind of come together and think, what are the options we have now from all of the destruction that's taken place?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's good that, you know, art can be like a, you know, it can make suggestions. It can lead people to think a little differently and outside the box.
Well, you know, and show people, you know, your personal experience, what you've been through, you know, and, you know, I think at the heart of it, you know, one of the most valuable things art can do is, make people feel less alone in what they're going through. You know, like as a kid, I remember I would read stories and poems, you know, and feel, okay, I'm not the only one who's going through this. You know, there's someone else who, I don't know when they wrote this poem or whatever, but at that point they felt like I did. And that was a comfort.
Right. Absolutely. It can communicate across, you know, entire generations, hundreds of years. Sometimes, you know, it's the most timeless pieces among the, you know, the valuable poetry that's out there. You know, there's so many good pieces that just speak to the heart, you know, and just, you know, like you said, you feel less alone. You know, you realize that you're not the only one over the generation. It's even timeless. Like some problems we face are timeless, you know, the human condition and so forth. So I'm curious, what for Compulsive Swim, what was it you were trying to express in that book, or like you described earlier, you know, your process for Lotus. What kind of ideas did you format for the Compulsive Swim?
Well, Compulsive Swim is a little longer than Lotus, and you know, Lotus was, you know, one poem after the other. It tells a story. It's a poetry novella, and I wanted to kind of explore the poetry novella a little further because I'm just still interested with it, you know. So I felt that Compulsive Swim was kind of an expansion on, you know, what I was learning and trying with Lotus. A lot of that book deals with my OCD, you know, and experiences on the streets, you know. But yeah, I mean, the goal again was to create something that, you know, you could read linearly, but also, you know, could explore different times. So yeah, I mean,
interesting. So it's sort of an elaboration of from your first book. You're kind of continuing the same journey and then writing the next one. That's wonderful. It's good work. You're doing a lot of great work, by the way. I think, you know, I really like, especially your activism for the homeless and reaching out to people. And I read a lot of your poetry online. I really enjoyed it. It was very imaginative. So do you want to, you know, parting words, give any advice to fellow writers or, you know, people out there right now who are wanting to jump into the writing community? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think just in general, for a lot of folks, it's a lonely time right now, you know. So, you know, we got to work to change that, you know. If you're a writer and you're looking to you know, get more involved in the community, you know, honestly, like I just started going to open mics when I was a kid, when I was in high school, you know. Remember, I'd hop on the light rail and take it to, you know, downtown, go to this open mic where I was the youngest person there by, 10 years or whatever, but it was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just looking for, local opportunities, but also, if you have an idea, if you want to create something, don't let anything stop you, get that idea out of your head and create it, and I promise you there's other people, around you who probably have a similar vision, and you can work together to create something beautiful,
Absolutely. So do you want to share any shout outs or thank yous at the end of the show here with, for maybe your publisher or some family or friends?
Oh yeah. I mean, every person in my life deserves a million thank yous for, helping me stay alive all those years, and, everything. So yeah, I mean, everyone at Outcast Press, thank you, and I'm excited for the next book. My family has always been a great support, which I'm really blessed for sure. And my friends, I have the, same best friends that I've had since I was like 10, so I feel really lucky for that. Yeah, we grew up together, so that's a beautiful thing. Like, we know each other as well as we know ourselves, and that's right. Really awesome. But yeah, I mean, thank you as well to everyone who supports AZ Hugs. It's just a daily movement of love, and it works when we all come together. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the show, and I'll send you the link to the YouTube, and you can spread it around if you want. I'll do the same. So it was really nice talking with you. I appreciate your time, and thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, Dustin, thank you so much for having me, man. This was really nice, and it's great to talk to you. And I just appreciate you giving me, the opportunity to share some poems and just be in the space and be in conversation with you. So
sure.
I think it's cool what you're doing, man.
Yeah, share the opportunity with others. Like, let people know what we're doing, and we've been doing this a couple of years, and we like to have new people on, and it's really fun. It's interviewing artists and creative people. So thanks again.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. You've been watching World Inkers Network, and I am Dustin Pickering. If you would like to donate to the show, I'm going to pull up our banner here. It's a very simple process for me to go up, 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 up and away on this magical journey of this. Sorry, I went the wrong direction with the banners here. I'm on the wrong thing. So let me pull up the banner for our PayPal. PayPal.me/NYParrot if you would like to donate to the program. And if you would like to be on the program, you're a writer, I'm going to pull up the ticker here. It's if you want to be featured on the show, you can send your bio and a couple of samples of your work. If you're a writer or an artist, a musician, a creative mind, a scholar, publication.worldinkers@gmail.com. That's publication.worldinkers@gmail.com. So I would love to have anybody on the show that is a creative, that wants to be interviewed and wants to, that really thinks outside the box, or has some work they just released and wants to share. I would love to do that with you, interview you at any time. We had a couple of questions on here that we missed. I'm going to just pull these up, and maybe we'll have Austin again. He can answer these. I missed them on the show. They just popped up. And I'll just have that one. And then this one: how does your understanding of suffering inform your poetry? Very good questions, by the way. Thanks, Sounding Songs of Hearth and Home. Thanks for watching. And thanks to those who watched today. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And I hope you guys out there, have a wonderful day. And as I usually say at the end, it's a good time to start writing. So get to writing. Thanks so much for watching the show.
Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to